right, joining us right now is the vegan dancing diva and a DJ. You would know her from RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 2. Bimini, welcome to the Hookup Podcast.
All right, babe. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, it's so good to have you. I know that you're super jet lagged, but we so appreciate you being here. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I mean, I feel like I want to come. I love coming to Australia. It's my second time this year.
Yeah.
So I'm like buzzing to be here again. But I feel like I need to have like a week to adjust.
Yeah.
And then a week to like get into it. Because
Yeah.
the jet lag it's real, you know?
I know, and you're traveling all the time, and you recently did a trip to Turkey to get a little bit of a transplant of the hairs.
I did.
We need to know how it's going.
I didn't do it in Turkey. I did it in London.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did it in London. I did it in UK.
Shut up.
My boyfriend Musi, who's not here, but he drove me there and he drove me back in the morning. Bless him. Like he had to go really early. It was like 6 a.m. We had to be there for like 5:30. And then they gave him an office to work in because he was like working. Because it's 8-hour procedure.
Oh my God.
I mean, let me see. Like I'm 3 months in now.
Oh, it looks
so it's starting to come
good.
through. Like it's starting to see.
So what's
Yeah.
the process? It'll just fall out and then regrow?
It's all fallen out.
Yeah.
And then now it's regrowing. It takes about a year. And I didn't know that. So I was like,
You're like, I'll be good to go.
I thought I was
Give me
going to
a
be good to go to in Australia. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a luscious long locks. But that's not the case.
No.
But it's getting there and it feels good because I feel like it's such a euphoric feeling for me to have because I started losing my hair like 13, 14 and it was really young, yeah. And I don't know what it was. My mum's always like, it's your dad's genes. But I was also on Roaccutane for acne.
Yeah.
And there's like side effects of that's come out recently saying that brought premature hair loss for a lot of people. So I started getting receding at like 13 and that was horrible, especially as a queer person, like finding my identity and like not seeing how for a lot of people it's like surface level, but it's a lot deeper than that. I think like when you're looking in the mirror and you're not seeing yourself how you want to be, it's really hard, especially in the teenage years. It was really shit. But then I actually owned it when I was about 22, 23. I got a mullet. And I was like, oh, God, this is it. This is my hair. I'm so happy now. And I wasn't bothered about my hair.
Yeah.
But then I was like, fuck it. I want to get it done.
Yeah. You're watching all your TikTok updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just like loving each
Do you
one.
know, it's the funniest thing is like, that's my most viewed video across all, like, I think on Instagram, definitely, like, I don't know about TikTok, but it's like, on Instagram, it's got like 10 million views or something crazy.
I know.
So
And forget about
I have
like
to put it up on the screen
Yeah,
for
you need to
anyone
put
who
it up.
hasn't seen it. It is, I mean,
it is pretty funny.
it's pretty funny.
But I found it funny because I didn't know that would happen. So I just like took the piss.
I'm just like dying at the fact that you just like went in being like, I'll be ready to go in a week.
Yeah.
Face will be gorged, snatched, ready to do my
Everyone's like, oh, it takes about a full year because it takes a long time to get the
Wow.
full results from it. I was like, oh, mine will be like 3 months.
Yeah, I'm built different.
I'm
yeah,
built
it's like I'm
different.
I always
Obviously,
think that
I'm
too.
not.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm main character energy. I'm built different.
Like,
things
Yeah.
don't affect me.
I'll go to
Yeah.
Bali. I won't get Bali belly.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Bimini, I have heard you talk about your love for diving on a podcast.
Yes.
And you said that when you were coming to Australia, you were going to do some diving and do the Great Barrier Reef. How are we going? Is that on the agenda
So,
still?
I don't know if I'm going to have time, which I'm gutted about. And we were looked into doing it in Perth.
Yeah.
And we were going to go out there. And I was like looking at all different places. But the places, I think it's not fully high season yet. It just didn't align. But we went snorkeling.
Okay, where in Perth?
We went to Rottnest.
Oh, did you love it?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Get a selfie with the quokka?
Oh, the quokkas. I mean, they're like big rats.
I know.
Yeah, they're rodents.
I love that, like, Margot Robbie and, like, all these famous people getting, like, so close to their faces.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're generally, like, pretty disgusting.
I was like Googling, like, what's the difference between a rodent and a marsupial? Because they're like marsupials, right?
Yeah.
It's because they have a pouch.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
difference. But no, they're like cute. But I was like,
I'm not putting my
I'm
face
scared.
near that. Yeah.
is it going to bite me?
Hey, so you spoke a little bit before about your childhood and growing up queer, and you've got this new podcast out called The Pieces. If you haven't already listened, go and check it out. It's so, so good. Something that you said really struck me on that, and I was like, man, this is so true. You were talking about when you were growing up and people were like already labeling you as like fruity or queer when you were 10, and you were like, I don't even feel sexual at all. Like I feel nothing, like don't even label me. And it feels like those people are the people who are generating like moral panic about like sexualizing children.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you even saying that then? Anyway, I just thought it was really poignant. And I wanted to ask you about like, you know, your coming out experience. And for anyone who doesn't know, like, what was it like figuring out your sexuality and your identity when you were around that age?
I love that question. I think it's so weird when I look back and think like that those people, the adults that were like saying those things, because I was like just dancing around to Britney Spears and like having a gay old time. It was just like just figuring it, not even figuring it out because I was so young. And I think like I started picking up on social cues and understanding, and I think we all do from a young age. And I feel like a lot of adults are always like, oh, they're just kids, they don't pick it up. But I feel like I was picking up like the cues of other people and hearing what they would say. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like it was a bit of like a weird thing. But then I was always quite like, I'd do cartwheels in supermarkets with my mum, which would really annoy her. And I was very like annoying as a child, but like fun, you know? I loved pop music and the girlies and like just dancing around. And then as I got older, I think like going into like high school, that's when I started being like, okay, I need to like not be as like, can't do the splits everywhere. That kind of thing. Because I've been like,
people look at you and...
Yeah, but the older boys used to say to me like, you don't have a penis because you can do the splits. And I was like, that's not how anatomy works. But because they were like, you don't have a penis because you're able to just do that. Yeah. And I was like, that's so weird. But then that kind of made me stop doing stuff like that, you know, like dancing, and which was a shame. But then I think when I turned about 14 was when I first started exploring my sexuality. And then I think I came out as like, I said I didn't care about labels, which I still don't. Like I'm very fluid with my sexuality. And I feel like a lot of gay people or queer people experience this is like when you feel like you come out, you feel like you have to be there and you can't explore everything else. And I feel like that's where my fluidity is. Like I've over the years, my sexuality has been very open with lots of different people, and it hasn't always just been kind of black and white, you know, gay or straight. And I guess coming out is, I hope one day we don't have to anymore. Or like instead of being like, when did you come out as gay, it's like, when did you come out straight?
Literally.
You know, like,
I
why
love
is that the
meme
default
of like the person coming out to their parents and being like, I have something to say. And then they have to be like, I'm straight. And then the parents like crying. That's going to be me as a parent.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it's the default, which obviously is because of the society we live in, and it like heteronormativity is the default. But I hope we get to a day where it's not as rigid, or it doesn't feel as, and I think we are in certain areas. I feel like certain demographics are definitely a lot more open and fluid. But I think like, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and like kind of what you're saying here about like how it's so non-linear for you, and like I'm wondering as well, have you just been figuring it out constantly? Like it's a constant journey. Like where are you at with sort of like how you identify?
I just think I say pansexual, I guess.
Yeah.
Just very like open. Like I have a partner who is a gay male, and we have been together for nearly 2 years. But like over the years, we've been very open sexually as well, together, and like with different people. And I think like we're both very fluid with it. But right now we've been very monogamous, like the last year or so. But like when we were first together, I think we were very exploratory. What's the word?
Yeah. Exploratory.
Exploratory.
You were just dipping your fingers in all the pies.
Yeah, but then I think we've both calmed down a bit. Okay. Like we were always like having a good time and going out a lot, and like I was working and like we'd have a good time. But now we're like a bit homebodies.
Is that a convo that you guys had of being like, right, we're going to be monogamous now? Like you like talked about it?
Both, because I think we both also got like in the UK, and especially in the queer scene, and in London, there's a lot of parties. Yeah. I can't be a 365 party girl anymore.
Babe, Charlie
is
already said done. And do you know what? I have a fucking bone to pick on that, because I'm like, in Australia, we have winter. So while you guys were living your best fucking brat summer, we were freezing our tits off. Yeah. And then now it's going into summer and I'm ready. I'm like, I want to be a 365. And she said it's over.
No. But no, that's what I mean. Like we definitely were like having fun and going out a lot more. And then I think like stuff changes. We don't want to do that as much anymore. Like we're happy to just like go to dinner and just chill. So yeah, we have had that conversation, and that's where we're at currently. We've been both focusing on our careers and our health, and like just getting like into a really happy space. Because I will say as well, like in those party scenes, or like when you go out and alcohol can be involved, it can always not be very pleasant for everyone. Like we've ended. The only times we've ever really argued is due to alcohol. Really,
I can relate to that.
Really?
yeah. We're just so stupid to get the normal, and like if there's alcohol involved, that's when there can be like negatives.
Yeah,
between
that's so
us.
interesting. I feel like I've never had an argument over like while intoxicated, but my alcohol definitely changes my sexuality. I'm literally like, come here, you.
Yeah.
Gives passion everyone on the day floor.
Yeah, very that. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Bimini, but I feel like you have been in quite a few like long-term relationships. Would you say that you're like a bit of like a slow burn kind of person? Like you work fast or slow in a relationship?
So I didn't know that really until I look back, and actually like I have been a very since I think I turned 23 is when I started having my first long-term relationship. That was like 5 years. And then I had like some relationships on the side, but I guess there was always someone. I've always had a relationship since that age, basically.
Yeah, you're like
which
me.
I never thought I was.
Serial monogamous.
Hips like
I
that.
have like barely any like little single gaps in my life.
Yeah.
I love being
They
in
overlap.
relationships.
They overlap.
Overlap? I've never cheated.
No, not
Let
cheating.
the record
Not
show.
cheating, but it's like straight. It's
Like probably
Yeah.
the longest
the gap's
amount.
so short.
They're like six months, maybe 12 months one time. And
Yeah.
it's been like, I've always been in like long-term relos.
Well, I think with me and Mussy, we've been together for 2 years now, but everyone like called us a lesbian relationship at the beginning
'Cause
we were
you
like
hold.
within 2 weeks we were like inseparable.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of the gays aren't like that. Like gay
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
they're like very much like. So we were like, okay, this is something really quick, you know. And a lot of people would say like, that's shout out the lesbians we love.
Also, you guys post each other on each other's
Yeah.
pages all the time, which is so
The collab
funny.
post
The
we
collab
love.
post, I
Yeah.
died.
We
I love
love.
it.
That was so cute. Yeah, he posted that, and I was like, he was like, I've invited you as a collaborator. I was like, okay, accept.
You're like, I didn't really want to, but you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
I was like, but this is your video, and then I was like, actually, I'm in it a lot.
No, we love it.
so
We
funny.
absolutely love it. You guys are so cute.
No, it is
And I
cute.
love that he's here with you and
Yes.
he's touring
Yes.
Yeah.
and supportive. Is he there front row? He's like,
Yes, he is, or like video him from behind.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
get me
yeah.
an angle. But no, he is really supportive. He comes to everything, which is because he works full time. He works in business development, but he's here down under with me doing this, and he comes to everything. Which sometimes I feel guilty because I'm like, I know we just want to like chill at home. Like we've been quite like, I mean, I don't say it's boring because I'm having the best time, but we've been like going to bed at like 9 every night. Yeah, we do that, but I would like go to yoga, come down home, have dinner.
God, you guys
Babe.
just need to hang out.
love me.
I
And you're
love it.
vegan as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a bit like you're like star sign, love star signs, crystals, bit woo woo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, Gemini.
Nice.
Aquarius. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we're 5 and out here.
I'm like Taurus with like a double Leo rising, I think. Sun and rising or something, yeah.
That means nothing to me but slay.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm not like, I want to be, I think I'm like a fake star sign person. I'm like, yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
into it, but
yeah.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
No, but you talk to the universe, and I believe the universe listens back. You know?
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I love that. I could talk about that for ages.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
universe chat.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I feel like I'm like getting back in my like manifestation. Like I think I had like a bit of a break. I went through like a darker mental space, and I think that really like fucked with my feng shui. Like
Your
of
yin and
me.
your yang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Feng
did.
shui
And
of
now I'm
mind.
like back on it. And I will say I have been like using a lot of mushrooms. Like we love.
That is, I take 10 different types every morning.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on the cordyceps, the ashwagandha,
Yeah,
like
lion's
all of
mane,
it,
obviously,
lion's mane.
yeah.
The fact that it's like grown in the ground and it's so natural, and it has been used for millions of years or thousands of years, and like
Ancient
so,
wisdom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm here for it all. Come on.
I love that. I'm wondering as well, like your connection to then like nature and like obviously having such an interest in this stuff and talking about like the star signs and the woo woo. We love it here.
Grounding.
Do you believe in soulmates or anything like that? Or are you just kind of like the universe doesn't have a plan and we're all just like floating bits of dust?
No, I believe that universe, if you connect to it and you're able to like tune into that power, you can ride the universe in the best way possible. Was a
that sounds
weird-
hot.
Yeah,
You would say
I was
that.
like, I'm
You
listening.
would say that.
That's like the metaphor. You can ride that universe.
Ride that universe. So
But
you're
no,
a
I
big
do
believer in that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think environmental factors and external factors can play a big part into taking away our power within ourselves. You know, like I think we are all. This is all soppy, but we are all like spiritual beings living a human experience. And I think like so many things can take away from yourself and who you are, but it's about trying to reconnect to that. And like I know like I got after Drag Race, like I was caught up in the rat race, and I think like I've had to take my power back with that, and like instead of giving my energy to so many different people all the time like I was, and like burning myself out and being exhausted, I have to say no to things and be like, no, actually I'm reclaiming my power and who I am and how I want to be. And it's okay to be tired, it's okay to say no to things. There's always going to be another event, there's always going to be another party, but I want to be able to be here in 50 years' time and still be of a mental sound mind and physical body, you know? And like, I want to be able to still like do downward doggy when I'm 8 years old.
I have a feeling you will be.
Yeah.
Is like hearing you say all of that about that experience after Drag Race, is that a confronting feeling from going in high school where people are kind of commenting on your sexuality, making fun of you in some ways, and then being working class, growing up, not really being known, and then being kind of catapulted into such a huge limelight? The confrontingness of like, who's really here for me and who's a real friend, and because then everyone wants to know you and everyone's like wants to be your friend, and was that hard to deal with?
Definitely. And I think I'm a person that like always tries to see the good in people a lot of the time, and like I think over the years I've realized that not everyone that I was around probably had my best interest. People that were managing me, like my management, there was a lot of like darkness over the years. I think like my first manager like sued me, which I've not really spoken about it publicly, but like they sued me, and it was like a really big thing on my mental health. Like for years, it was like an 8-month lawsuit that was going on while I was working, and I wasn't making any money because all the money was going to them, and it was like massively messed with me a bit. And like I think I'm definitely in a lot of a stronger place, but I've had to work hard at that because I still want to work within the industry I'm in. But actually, I got scorned quite early on, and it left a bit of a kind of sour taste in a way. Like, and it was then like learning who the people around me, do I trust these people? What are they trying to get from this situation? And now I'm like so much like in such a better place, and I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm not listening to like management that were telling me I can't do certain things or I can't be like this, because I was like, I have worked so hard to be who I am, and I went on to Drag Race and I got all of these amazing opportunities for being myself, and then these people were trying to control me and tell me that I had to do a certain thing or I couldn't be around certain people, and I hated it. Like I hated it. It like made me anxious. It made me like low, quite depressed for a while. And I think like I've had to work really hard at getting back my power, which is why I think it's so important when I say that is like you have to listen to your gut. And I didn't listen to my gut a lot of the time. I listened to what people were telling me to do, even though I knew that I shouldn't be doing that or this isn't what I want to do. So I think like listening to your gut and like owning your power is the most important thing to do in any situation. And if you feel like failure is happening or something hasn't gone the right way, just trust the universe and trust the process, because I'm definitely in a place where I'm back to where I want to be and doing what I want to do. And it felt dark a year ago. It felt like I was low, and it didn't feel like I was doing what I want to do, and I was like kind of scared and anxious. And you know, it's okay to admit that, but everyone has the power to get back to how they want to be. And you've got to work hard at it. It's hard. But if you believe in yourself enough, I think the power of believing in yourself outweighs everything.
Yeah, that is wild to think as well, because I've followed you for years since Drag Race UK, and like, you know, seeing your conversation with Ginny Lemon, talking about like understanding non-binary and how that opened up a huge dialogue for the world because you made it so easy to understand in that chat. And then hearing you now and how much you've gone through behind the scenes, and like you said, being catapulted into the limelight, having the internet like come for you, like anyone can DM you, say whatever they want. It is just crazy, and I think that's such beautiful advice, especially for anyone who's trying to figure out who they are in this world. It is just, it's so full on, it's so hard. So yeah.
I mean, I've like, I don't want to try and like diminish like the amazing time I've had as well.
For sure.
Like, there's been some amazing opportunities. Like I've done things that I never thought I would, but I would say the last 4 years has been quite a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I haven't always been public about a lot of things negative that have gone on behind the scenes, like people that have mismanaged me or like taken advantage of me, because I guess there's a shame of it. as a queer person, like I feel like there's a level of shame that I'm like, I don't want to admit that I got taken advantage of by these people, because I've always been like, I'm a boss bitch. But then actually I was vulnerable with these people and they took advantage of that vulnerability. And I think everyone needs to have their wits about them. And you hear about it so much going into the industry of like the people that exploit others and like take advantage of others. And sadly, they still exist.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there. And I know a lot of people and a lot of queens from the UK have been taken advantage by this particular person and haven't been paid any money and have like for years and like worked for free. And like no one talks about it because they're scared of these men in power. And it's like, no, we need to deconstruct that, and we're the people that have the power, you know? We need to take that and like not allow these men to take advantage of people.
I mean, this is what I love so much about you. Like, you have such a drive with your art and drag, and it's so steeped in politics. And I think for the average like viewer or someone who engages with drag, they may not know how important politics and punk is. And that's your brand. And that's what I fucking love about your drag and you as a person.
Well, thank you. No, I think people don't understand how important politics is in everything that we do, and it shapes everything that we do, and queerness as well. And like you see it happening in the States, like what's just happened now with the election, and the fact that there was like conversations about abortion being taken away, but no one cared, and they still brought the man into power that was questioning it, these like Republican views. And I think it's so scary because that is 2024 where we're discussing women's body, women's rights, and the autonomy to their own body being a politicized debate or up for debate. It's so scary. If that can happen, it can happen to every single group of people, every demographic of person. We should all be scared.
Yeah.
We should all be worried, and we should all be fighting against that.
Kind of off of what Pete was saying about like how much politics influences your drag and your art. Do you have any advice for anyone listening who, you know, really resonates with that and is looking to embody things and values that they feel passionate about in the way that they like show up in the art that they create?
So I think for me, I'll say an example of what got me into the way I perform with drag and politics is I studied journalism. And I hated what I was seeing. I hated all of the bias. My dissertation was about the right-wing media bias in the UK, and it was something I was so angry about, but also passionate about. But then I loved creativity, and I wanted to explore that side. So when I started performing in drag, I was like going to shows and seeing drag queens and drag kings in the UK, and like people mocking society and ideologies and but in a safe space where people were welcomed to enjoy that. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like I could bring politics into like in a mocking way. And then I had another act where I was like, it's a vegan act, and I came out as dressed as a cow and spoke about like cows being artificially inseminated for their milk. And then I stripped off into a fake Louis Vuitton bikini and then got covered in oat milk to MILF Money by Fergie. And I was doing it in the streets of Soho. But like I was trying to bring a political edge to my performances. Yeah. Then obviously I've always been someone that will like say stuff, like what they feel about what's happening in the current zeitgeist in politics. So I think I've always just ran with that. And then I didn't know on the show, like when me and Ginny spoke about what we did about like our experiences being non-binary, people really resonated with it. And over the years I've been vocal about things and people have resonated with that. So I think you've got to stand for something, and you've got to piss off 80% of people for 20% of people to believe in you, you know? And like I think that's so true. Like you can't have 100% of everything. Like no one is gonna fully believe in you, but if you stand for something, you'll always have people that believe with you, you know?
And that 20% is worth it, right?
20% is way worth it, yeah.
You know, before what you were saying about like performing in these clubs and really finding your feet and your community, something that obviously has happened post-COVID is so many venues have died.
I know,
and
it's so sad.
Really fucked up, and it's really sad. And like for a lot of queer people, that's your community, and that's how you express yourself, and that's how you get this message out, and you make a stand, and it's a protest, and
for sure,
and it's just love, and it's community. It's so important. I'm wondering like how you feel then about the fact that a lot of queer culture has kind of moved online. Do you think it even compares to being like physically in a venue and having those people around you? Like, or is it like not as good? What do you reckon?
I think obviously anywhere we have spaces is amazing. But I do think we need the human element in everything that we do. I mean, listen, people have been dancing around campfires with music from like the beginning of time, you know? Like people are always going to find a way to be together. And I think that's so important. I do think we'll get to a shift in the internet soon. I think we'll get to a post-internet generation or a post-social media generation. In what way, in whatever way that could be, I don't know. But I do think it's become so much a staple in everyone's lives. Like when I look at my younger sister, for example, and she'll probably kill me for saying this or be very angry, but I see her and I'm like, she doesn't do as much as I did at that age. She's 18 or 17, turning into 18. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. We were drinking on the streets a lot, but
yeah, true. Sometimes I'm like, being in front of an iPad was definitely a lot safer than my 18-year-old life.
They're like, they've grown up. They're the generation have grown up with the screens and the phones, and I just don't know how sustainable it is for that human. Because I do think the human element is so important for all of us to have. And to understand each other more. And I don't know if we are understanding each other more with the rise of the internet. Because if anything, views have become more polarized. Everyone has to have an opinion. Where it's okay to not have an opinion about certain things, you know? You don't have to always go online and
say what
say
this.
And also the fact that obviously I was on a TV show, so then I got like a following from that. But then I see sometimes people comment such negative things, which doesn't bother me. I don't care about the negative comments. I actually just think I feel sorry for the people writing them, because I think like, not even just for me, but when I see people writing on or tweeting negative stuff to other people, I'm like, why have we allowed this to happen? Because that isn't normal. That's not normal behavior. That's not normal behavior, but it's also not part of the human experience to have to see that.
Because that would never happen in real life. Like people wouldn't come up to me and be like, you're fat and ugly and like you should go kill yourself. Like people would never say that to you, but then like
I wish they did.
We'll get like 10 comments.
I wish they did.
We'll get like 10 comments of that like every day. You know what I mean? And I'm
Oh my God, we literally screenshotted a fantastic
all
one
the time,
5 minutes
and
ago.
I'm like,
really?
I'm like you. I'm like, I don't care, but I'm like, that is just so sad that this is where we've come to.
Exactly. And I guess like we've always had a certain level of that in like gossip magazines, and like people just love to be nasty to other people. Yeah, to cunts.
They just love to be cunts.
They do. Yeah. And I'm like, why? Like, why do you have to be nasty or why be mean? I feel like that's just, it's a shame, I think.
Yeah. All right. So, Bimini, we'd love to play a game with you, Chatterbox. Please choose a picture.
Booty.
B-O-O-T. My voice challenges my spelling.
And then we're going to go for the pink.
Oh.
If you could hook up with anyone with no consequences, who would it be?
I love this question.
Could it be like 90s Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, because you don't want it to be the current one.
We can't have the current one.
Could it be 90s Leo?
Absolutely. Go back to Titanic, Leo.
Yes.
Yes.
I like Romeo and Juliet, Leo.
Oh,
yes.
The thing is, though, that's like not even a big consequence.
No. Who would you say?
No consequences.
No consequences.
That's the thing that throws you off because you're like, oh.
Am I like meant to choose someone really
Who's, like,
controversial?
yeah.
Like I've been watching the recent season of UK Drag Race, and there's just a lot of mention of Margaret Thatcher. So I'm like, what if I hooked up with Maggie Thatcher and then changed like the history? If I said, actually, babe, why don't we try something new?
That's good. Yeah, that's iconic. Yeah, you want to go something that's like controversial.
Yeah. Should we do another one?
Do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Let's do another one.
All right.
Let's go for the, is this cum?
Yeah. C-U-M.
Green.
Okay.
Oh.
What's the biggest lie you've told to a partner?
That felt good.
I think that's so relatable.
Yeah, okay.
In the past, when I've been in a relationship or like been with a partner, to just get it over and done with, been like, made it happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like not wanted to be there. And I think that's just probably,
You're like, Mussy babe, obviously not you.
Yeah.
No, obviously
If you're watching. Obviously not you.
All right, we're going to play Rant or Rave with Bimini. Your time starts now.
I want to rant about, I'm sick of seeing queer trauma on shows and TV, like in relationship wise, or like it's always distraught, it's always gonna end, it's always gonna be bad, it's always come from a place of like darkness. Like I want to see like queer relationships that are like, in their 60s and 70s that have like been together for so many years and like see the positive sides of stuff. Like I think a lot of the time, and there's rightly so, there's been a lot of trauma and a lot of bad things have happened to the queer community over the years, but I want to see those positive stories more, like the more like long-term relationships where you see like the older couple together and like just seeing like queer joy and euphoria happening more so, rather than like always seeing like clickbait articles that are like negative about queerness or like couples and like always being like polyamorous and everything. Like that's totally fine, but like that's not obviously everyone as well. So I think like just more representation.
I think that was a perfect minute.
That was
Love
great.
it.
Another game that people and I like to play, whenever we post this as well, people in the comment sections get so riled up because that's the whole point. It's called Hookup Hot Take. So the take is meant to be hot, controversial. Do you have a hookup hot take?
Hookup hot take, I will say, is sex doesn't always have to be intercourse. I feel like sex is so much more than just putting it in whichever orifice whichever orifice you want to put it in. And that's fine if you want to do that. But a lot of the times, listen, I don't know if you know about like LGBTQ sex and especially gay sex, but gay sex, it can take some time to get ready, if you know what I mean. If you've not been taking your psyllium husk and you want to like, you want to get down and like not like that's not always on the agenda, you know. Especially if you've been like, you've gone for dinner.
Yes. You know what I want to bring back? Clothes on sex.
Yes.
I am so like.
Sorry,
can
humping?
Yes.
Is so hard.
Yes.
Grinding. Some like feeling over the clothes.
In like
it's
jeans and it's like.
Yes. And then you're like, I'm done. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to go further.
Literally.
Sometimes I'm like, that's it.
Like I want to feel like a teenager again. Please.
Yeah.
You know? Like why are we rushing it? Let's just keep the clothes on and it's horny. I love it.
And like sex doesn't have to finish when someone comes.
Yup.
No.
You know? It's like
Do you feel like the role play element is really important? Not role play, sorry. I mean
I was like, I
foreplay.
never.
Oh, yeah.
Foreplay, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll be role playing Margaret Thatcher. Be like, come on, Maggie.
Your wig. Oh my God. That's going to follow me now. I
can't
regret
believe-
saying this.
And you'll probably edit this and you'll cut it out and I'll be like, put it back in,
No,
dog.
it's gotta
it's
go
staying
Put it back
in.
in. It's staying in.
No, foreplay is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know that.
Yeah.
That is our sex. That is our Super Bowl.
We say it a million times on the hookup because we interviewed Espero once. And she was like, foreplay starts after your last orgasm.
So it's literally like
everything.
So when
It's
we
foreplay.
say that, it's almost like you finish, you come, and then you're like aftercare, and then they get you a cup of tea, and then you cuddle in bed, you wake up, they might
Yes,
get you
I've
breakfast.
seen that,
All
yeah.
of this adds to that feeling of, oh wow, I feel
Yeah.
really connected to you and I want to have sex
Or
with
like,
you.
you know, the sneaky wink, the touch, the
Yeah.
text, you know?
That's so interesting because I think like a lot of gay culture, and I don't know what this is rooted in, and I guess it's a lot of the shame factor. I think like there's been a lot of shame around gay sex and especially like femphobia within the gay community, because a lot of like the macho gays don't want to be seen like they're being like too feminine, and like gay sex can be like that. So I think that's why there's a lot of like kind of hookup culture where it's very much just like don't even talk to each other, in, out, jobs are good, and you know there's no like connection.
Shame around it.
Because of the shame, like it's just like kind of dump and go or like whatever, but like
Pump and dump.
yeah. And again, there is nothing wrong with that kind of intimacy if that's the intimacy you want. But I think like for me, I do love the whole. I love the whole. The intimacy part,
Yeah.
the build up,
Intimacy,
like the like having a drink or two and like flirting, and then getting into like the kind of more sexual chemistry of you, like both of you, like the flirtatious parts, the touches, like the kisses. That's all foreplay to me. It's like the build up, and then like the penetration if that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like all of that. I've never really been too much of a like, I just want to like not know who this person is.
Bimini, this has been so much fun having you on.
Thank you.
You are such a legend, and we can't wait to hear more music. And yeah, where can people find you if they haven't followed you already?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All my socials are Bimini Babes. So at Bimini Babes, you can just get me on there.
Love it.
Listen to my music on all streaming platforms and my podcast on all podcast
Yes,
platforms.
The Pieces. Go have a listen.
Yeah, loved your latest
Love you,
with
Slumflower.
Yeah.
Sunflower's fab.
Isn't
So
she?
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, honestly, we could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
You've got a record to
You've got to go.
record.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got a smash hit.
You've got some
Yeah. Get
collabs
out
to
of
do.
here.
Love you. Thank
Love
you.
Love you.
Bye.